Captain Ibrahim Traoré speaking to an audience of the Kinab and students based in Moscow after the Victory Day celebration in Russia urged Africa to prioritize practical science and implicitly pursue nuclear capabilities for true sovereignty. He criticized Africa's reliance on foreign resources, citing examples like cotton-producing nations unable to make their own explosives. He emphasized learning from Russia's scientific history and asserted that nuclear powers are strong. Traoré's presence signaled deepening ties with Russia. Viewed as a partner against neo-colonialism, he called for Africa to become scientifically self-reliant and militarily strong to survive in a predatory world. Have a listen to the entire speech translated into English. And please share your thoughts with us in the comment section. This is Uplifting Africa. Being here for the 80th anniversary of the victory over Nazism, and having taken part in yesterday's parade, as well as some cultural events the day before, has been a truly insightful experience. It has taught us many things, prompting deep reflection and inspiring us to revitalize the African continent. Today, many peoples are fighting for their survival, for their sovereignty, to live in peace, and the Sahel is part of this zone where imperialism is manifesting itself very violently. And with everything we are experiencing, I hope that we can honor the memory of all those fighters who gave themselves body and soul, and who preceded us in the afterlife in this fight against imperialism, against neo-colonialism. I ask you therefore to observe a minute of silence. I will take a few examples during my speech to elaborate on the substance of my thought. Here we are at Mendel University. Everyone has studied Mendel for those who did scientific studies. And I will give you a little anecdote. During my school career, there are people who do not like certain things and who cannot learn certain things. So when they cannot do it, they are nicknamed after the scientist who invented the thing. For example, we had people called Pov. We had people called Mendel. I love science. I am a scientist. I love science so much that at any time if you wake me up and ask me to recite Mendel's table, I have it in my head like that. It's the same with the chemical equations that we spend time balancing since high school. We are very strong. When on paper we are asked to balance a chemical equation, we do it. When in thermodynamics we are asked to calculate the standard enthalpy of formation of a body, we do it. This is to tell you that practice is very important, and we lack these laboratories to do the practice in our countries. For example, we are at war. We pay for equipment. We pay for ammunition, weapons, and everything. And when I take the ammunition, the explosives, and everything, Mali produces cotton. Burkina produces it. Niger produces it. But you know that it is the cotton cellulose that is transformed to make powder and explosives. Why can't we succeed in doing it? Because we lack practical chemistry. I think still in the same vein. You see all the types of missiles that the Russian Federation can develop, and the latest one is shaking the whole world, which does not like the Avia, but the fuel of all these missiles is chemistry. Can we practically create this fuel and try to create an engine to propel a rocket or a missile? There are so many examples that we cannot finish citing. But it is to tell you that you have the chance to be here, I would say, at the origin of chemistry and mathematics, because in Russia there have been scientists in these fields, whether it is physics, chemistry, or mathematics. But as the representative said, history has been deceived, and it is made to understand that Russians are not strong in certain areas. Others have written history. They say they are strong. But I think that today history shows us that everything is false. There are many scientists here. The origin is here. The first men who created this table. I summarize the matter is Russian. So take advantage of learning. Learning practically so that it serves our countries. When a country is weak, it is doomed to disappear in this predatory world. We must be strong, and today the countries that are nuclear are strong. They never lose a war. But the nuclear bomb where you have all done atomic physics is certain. You are told that it is a neutron that strikes a nucleus that divides the energy. We know the equation. But how to enrich? Even to change the isotope. How to enrich? How to do it practically. So take advantage of learning, because we need you to develop the music country. Who didn't have the chance to watch it, let's take a step back and listen to what our president had to say during the second Russia-Africa summit, which took place in St. Petersburg from July 27 to July 28, 2023. This was also another moment that you wouldn't want to miss. Before we continue, if you love what we do here on this channel and would like to support us, then you might consider gifting us a super thanks donation of any amount. Or you might as well become an Uplifting Africa channel member for exclusive content, perks, and more. Links to join are in the pinned comment and in the description box. President Vladimir Putin, Comrade President Vladimir Putin. Comrade, President of the African States, Comrade, Head of Delegation, good morning. It is an honor for me this morning to speak here, and to give you the fraternal greeting of the people of the country of the whole. It is also the place for me first of all to give thanks to God, Almighty God, who has allowed us to meet here this morning in good health to speak of the future and well-being of our peoples. Comrades, I have some questions for my generation. 1,001 questions that we ask ourselves, but we have no answer. And it so happens that here we can wash our dirty linen because we feel like a family. We feel like a family in the sense that Russia is also a family for Africa. It is a family because we have the same history. Russia has made enormous sacrifices to free the world from Nazism during the Second World War. The African people, our grandfathers, were also deported by force to help Europe get rid of Nazism. We share the same history in the sense that we are the forgotten people of the world. Whether it is in history books, in documentaries, or in films, we tend to sweep away the role played by Russia and Africa in this fight against Nazism. We are together because we are here to talk about the future of our peoples, about what will happen tomorrow, about this free world that we aspire to, about this world without interference in our internal affairs. We have the same perspectives, and I hope that this summit will be an opportunity to forge very good relations in the light of a better future for our people. The questions that my generation ask themselves are the following. If I may sum up, it is to not understand how Africa with so much wealth on our soil with a generous nature, water, sun in abundance, is today the poorest continent. Africa is a hungry continent. And how is it that our heads of state are crossing the world to beg? These are the questions that we ask ourselves, and to which we have no answer so far. We have the opportunity to forge new relations, and I hope that these relations can be the best to give a better future to our peoples. My generation is also responsible for saying that because of poverty, they are forced to cross the ocean to try to rally Europe. They die in the ocean, but soon enough they will not cross because they will come to our palaces to seek their daily food. As far as Burkina Faso is concerned, we have been confronted for more than 8 years with the most barbaric and violent forms of neocolonialism and imperialism. Slavery still has a lot to impose on us. Our forefathers taught us one thing. The slave who is not able to assume his revolt does not deserve to be paid for his fate. We do not pity ourselves for our fate. We do not ask anyone to pity themselves for our fate. The Burkina Faso people have decided to fight against the terrorist threat in order to revive its development. In this struggle, valiant people, valiant populations have committed themselves to take up arms against terrorism, which we have affectionately called the VDP, the Volunteers. We are surprised to see imperialists treating the VDP as a militia of all kinds. It is disappointing because in Europe, when people take up arms to defend their country, they are treated as patriots. Our grandfathers were deported to save Europe. It was not with their consent against their will. And when they came back, we remember well that in Traore, when they wanted to claim their basic rights, they were massacred. This nothing. When we the people decide to defend ourselves, we are treated as militia. But that is not the problem. The problem is to see African heads of state who bring nothing to these people who fight, but who sing the same song as the imperialists, treating us as militia, treating us as men who do not respect human rights. What human rights are we talking about? We oppose this, and it is shameful. We African heads of state must stop behaving like puppets, who dance every time the imperialists pull the strings. Yesterday, President Vladimir Putin announced the shipment of cereals to Africa. We are very happy. We say thank you for this. But it is also a message to us African heads of state, because at the next forum, we must not come here without assuring for those who do not know the war, the self-sufficiency of our people. We must take the experience of those who have already achieved this in Africa, build good relations here, and build better relations with the Russian Federation in order to meet the needs of our populations. I will not be long. Time is running out. We must stop at some point. But I would like to finish by saying that we must therefore pay tribute to our peoples who fight. Glory to our peoples. Dignity to our peoples. Victory to our peoples. The country or death, we will.